One, two, Hello, welcome back to Funky Flashbacks and Futures, where I interview people in their friendly Funky community because I'm totally on base game. Continuing teams, today we're looking at Holofunk. Some of you may know this from 2021, where the mod was simply an asset replacement. However, over the years, the project has expanded into a full executable. Holofunk is a mod based off Hololive, an organisation of VTubers, Japanese or English. These streamers come in generations, where they play games and hang out. Holofunk lets you play as either Aloe or Fubuki, going through Holomyth to be an idol again or do detective stuff. During this, you face idols like Calliope, Botan, Hachima, and Coco. As usual, timestamps in the comments for your convenience. Enjoy! Hello, we are back for our 6th interview. Isn't that insane? I just keep doing these. It's gonna keep going up to my 100th interview. So last time we did Funkin playback with Astro Galaxy, and that was a really fun time. I loved that one. Astro was really fun to interview, and maybe there'll be a part 2, possibly. So after that, a few days ago, I think it was a week ago actually, I was streaming Holofunk on my YouTube, where I didn't get around to the model very quickly. And I'm like, okay, let's do this. And thanks to the Coda Pop, I actually got all the devs, or not all the devs, but a lot of the devs in the stream with me. And the stream was so fun that number 1, I'm doing this interview right here. And number 2, if this video is up, there will also be a stream highlights video that I am editing myself, because it's cool editing practice and I loved how the stream turned out. What's happening to my voice? Jesus Christ. Anyway, so with us, we have 4 devs, which is actually the record so far. It was 2 because of Ed Tails Gets Trolled, but now it is now 4. Why don't everyone just like say hello?
Hello.
Hello. Waves at waves at everyone. I'm actually gonna check my mic. Okay, so fun fact as well. This is our 2nd take. We went 10 minutes in, and the audio from my mic just stopped working. So this is our 2nd take, and I'm looking at the fucking mic thing in OBS this time to make sure it's working. How about everyone introduce themselves in order? So why don't people introduce themselves? All right, Codexes, you go first.
Hello, I'm Codexes. I am the lead director of Holofunk. Previously, I was the programmer, but now I am the lead director. I know, quite a jump. And I'm just looking forward for this interview.
Ruby?
Hi, I'm Fruby. I'm one of the 3 programmers for Holofunk. I'm not the lead programmer, but I was responsible for a large portion of the porting to Unity process, and among other things.
Grand Hammer?
Hi, I'm Grand. I'm the art director currently, and I used to be Babe's sister, and I just kind of exist.
But you exist in a good way, and finally, but last but not least, Codapop.
What's up? I'm Coda. You can call me Jesus. That's what pretty much everyone calls me. I used to be the director. I was the lead charter from early on up until I got to be the lead director for a period of the week 6 development. And now I'm the former lead director, but I still keep in touch and help out where I can. Thanks for letting me be here today.
No, it's no worries. Again, you got me in contact with everyone here, so I must be thanking you. With all these people, I have 30 questions that I have written up. It's basically identical to the amount, and a little bit less, but basically the same with Doki Takeover, which was another fun interview I did. So it's the George and Duster. So we have 30 questions we're gonna go through, and yeah, I've tried to put version 1 to the very latest one in here. But we'll see what happens. Is everyone ready to go through these questions?
Yep, I'm ready.
I am ready.
I'm ready.
I'm ready. Oh, I'm burping because of fucking my Pepsi. Anyway, so let's get into this. So question 1, what were your initial experiences with Hololive? So basically, how were you introduced into it? Like, what were your initial experiences before Holofunk?
So for me, I got into Hololive because and this was at the tail end of 2019, I got recommended a lot of like clip content of Sakura Miko that I found really funny, and I just it piqued my interest enough that I'm still here 3 years later. It was an incremental thing, but that's kind of how it just started. I watched some streams, a lot of clips, some streams here and there. Hololive English kind of like helped reinvigorate the ability to watch streams in a language I understand. And Omaru Polka pretty much caused brain rot, but we'll get to that later. Codexes?
Sure. So I got into Hololive from a mobile gacha game called Azure Lane. They were currently having a collaboration event with Hololive, and initially I didn't know anything about Hololive, even though I was definitely into VTubers like Kizuna Ai. So after the collaboration event, I looked further into Hololive, and I looked into it more as I watched these clips. They had very humble beginnings, and kind of exploded to my big. I'm a super big fan of Hololive now, and yeah, and it just kind of here we are now. And I guess I'll just pass it over to Angie here.
So, with my first experience of exposure to Hololive, it was mainly I got recommended on YouTube a video of a bunch of Japanese members, because Ian wasn't around at this time, falling for a trap that was set by Usada Pecora on their Minecraft server, and I thought that was really funny. It was very entertaining. I remember also watching a compilation of members trying to play a difficult Mario Maker level that was made by, I think, Fubuki or Okayu. It was one of those two. But the one thing that got me really into Hololive was absolutely a Tim and Eric parody by Kiryu Coco that she made in order to advertise the fact that they were hiring for Hololive English, which was upcoming, and that was in September 2020, I think. Or no, it was way earlier, I think. But I thought the original Tim and Eric skit was really funny, and that just kind of got me interested because of Coco just trying to be silly. It was a parody of the free real estate sketch, and after just kind of seeing that, and then seeing Myth come around and stuff, and watching some clips of the individual channels, it got me hooked.
And finally, Grandhammer.
For me, I can't really remember because it's kind of vague, but kind of like what the others were saying, I kind of found out through Kizuna AI, and then I just kind of did my own thing until English got announced, and then when English did get announced, I found my way over here.
Mm-hmm. Well, I've not had a lot of experiences with Hololive. I do know about forgive me, I don't remember the names. The dog VTuber, I forgot her fucking name. Excuse me.
Inugami Kurone.
Kurone. I've seen her a lot. I've seen that one Hololive beam of the person going yay, and then explode. I've not seen a lot of Hololive. I know the VTuber scene. Even I got my own VTuber for streams, that kind of stuff. But I wouldn't mind getting more into it, honestly. It seems very interesting, and I'm actually much more interested thanks to this mod. So, question 2. So, what led to the start of Holofunk's development?
Oh, that's a good one. I could answer this kind of question. This goes to one person, and they're not here right now, but it's CJ. So I only joined at about when the April Fool. It was after the April Fool's update. CJ had started this mod on their own as a asset replacement mod, similar to how this character over this character. That is literally how the mod started. It was a Mono Aloe over Boyfriend mod, and that released in December of 2019. Then it updated with Nene over Girlfriend, and then Mori Calliope over Dad. Which the whole joke of where people refer to Mori Calliope as Dad, so it was just something kind of fit. I think internally in the code, I think she's still referred to as Dad. I could be fact checked on this.
Right now, no, she is not. But for the entirety of 1.0 to 5.0, she was entirely known as Dad.
Yeah, no, it just kind of started really grassroots at the earliest points of modding. Holofunk was there in some way, shape, or form, and just kind of slowly grew up from there as more people joined either through finding interest in CJ's mod. If CJ had not made a Discord for that mod, it would literally have not gone off as much as it did.
I kept going from there. And question 3. This was you actually said your dismay because of how long this seems, but we'll do a brief summary. To question 3, what was the development from versions 1 to versions 5? Just a brief summary, honestly.
I can get from the beginning kind of how it was, and then I'll pass it on to someone to kind of to take it up from like versions 3 through 5. But at least I remember at the time we started off, it was CJ, CO13 Huff, Salty Hotcakes, me, and a few other people, but it was just like they had a little bit of minor roles, and I had joined, and I think a week later Haruka joined. And this was at the time when it was week 3 or week 4. This is where I kind of like, it's weird. I think we were working on week 2. We were working on week 2.
Yeah. I was about to say it was week 2 because I literally remember watching Haruka make Hachima.
It was well. That's why I got confused, because week 2 was a bit of a weird release because Amelia and Gura were released separately as like covers, and Hachima came out as an update later, and that's what we considered the week 2 update. But things were kind of like, we would do things through text. We didn't really talk to one another. That's kind of how it was early on. We would just hop on eventually we would get on Discord calls, like, oh, what do we have to do here and there? Just kind of, we didn't know about like any level of coding either, because there was points where like we were trying to revamp like week 1, one of the many revamps of week 1, and we didn't know what we were doing. And like, even back then, and I feel like even now, resources for getting help on that type of stuff just was not the greatest. We kind of were left to suffer through stuff as we went, and we eventually got more help. I'll want to take up for like the week 3 onward.
I think that's a little hard for Angie, Grand, and myself to answer, because I think we joined later, like after week 3.
Yeah,
really?
I remember I joined like immediately after, I think, week 5 release.
I joined late week 5.
Haruka told me about a lot of things that happened.
Oh, okay. So, okay, then I guess I'm the only one that kind of really knows how it was. Okay, so week 4, that was, we worked on it, and was week 4 when Russia was implemented?
No, that was 5.
That was week 5.
That was
week
5.
5. Okay, week 4. I remember we were working on week 4. That went pretty smooth. We had an idea we were going to release in like sometime in June, or was it July? I can't remember the exact timing. But right as we were getting ready to like, we were pretty much wrapping up things. Like maybe we felt pretty close to finishing. That was around the time when Kiryu Coco, the week 4 opponent, pretty much announced that she was gonna graduate, and that kind of sucked for everyone. But in a way, it pushed us onward, and we felt really like invigorated to work on week 4. Kind of went into our week 5 development when we eventually introduced dialogue. That was a really big jump for us.
Absolutely.
Okay, that's when Codexes knows how to prepare.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah, you wrote the dialogue
like,
system.
Oh, let me introduce myself.
No, like, I'm laughing because there was only one person that was really coding. We had another programmer, but they ghosted like our whole team. So there was really just one person like coding it, especially with like the dialogue system. And then they went up to me and was like, okay, Codex says, I really need your help. I cannot do this on my own, please. And it's like, okay, like, what's going on? It's like, and then they showed me this one picture. Like, I wish I can like put it in the chat and then like you could put it up in the video. But he showed me this one image of like a portrait of Aloe, and then Senpai like on the left side, but then the dialogue box is like, it's like from week 6, and it's like, oh my god, like this is not gonna work for anyone, especially like from a coding stance. So like I went in, and it's like, I have to help Awu, like, because they were the only programmer by then, and like I went in, like I redid like how the entire dialogue system worked, because like initially it was like kind of all over the place. So I had to redesign that a little, and everyone was pretty content with it. I was pretty content with it. And I think other aspects for week 5 was like, I know the coding was a big deal because that was the big push for dialogue. I think it was just like having
week 5 was the update where it moved from asset replacement to an actual EXE mod. Or not okay. Hold on.
You're gonna have to
No. Executable. It was an executable now. Okay.
It was an actual mod.
Yeah.
It was an actual video game.
It is not terrorizing, we're gonna kill everybody because Sonic. It was not that.
I am God? many souls to play with? So little time? Oh my god.
It was an accident. I forgot about what the word
it became not a reskin.
Yeah, it wasn't just the like acid replacement. Like, oh, we put this song over this song, and then like we actually just it was a whole like revamp for us. That's when they had week 5 was the new UI, the story mode, which took up a good amount of time to do. Pretty much from there, that's when Angela and like Grand joined, and they pretty much helped out with.
I joined for week 5. The free play menu actually that entire free play menu was my work actually. I think I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
I don't remember who did the main menu or the story mode menu, but I do remember I did the entire free play menu programming wise.
Yeah, I'm really intrigued that like the 3 out of 4 of you I've actually not been on since like week 5 or 6 because it really shows how far this mods went because I remember this mod from 2021 in Plantaros when like basic DCUs, and I'd see like the first original song I saw was the Shark Adventure thingy. I can't remember the full name of it. I apologize.
It was a Shark Adventure.
Yeah, Shark Adventure. I remember seeing that again by Plantaros courtesy. But like seeing that and none of you like were you working on that. Well, not none of you. Codepop was helping, but at that time. It just shows how far this mod came. It's like an indie game dev, honestly. It's really fascinating.
December 2019 was when pretty much it started when CJ opened up Adobe Animate for the first time and didn't really know how to work with it and just kind of made a mono aloe.
Do you not mean December 2020?
Was it 2020? No,
yeah.
like
the FNF Loon Daredevil was like I think it was like 2020.
Not bad. 2020.
Yeah, it's fine.
I remember.
I've
December
been an FNF
2020
fan for 4 years, guys.
December 2020. My bad. Look, years go by pretty fast. But December 2020, that's when it started, and a lot of stuff like in between there to April, that's when the Botan sprites got finished. And then it took until June of that year for the Coco sprites to be finished. Fun fact, Coco had to get redone because CJ accidentally deleted the first Flash file. I think that was one of the few instances that happened. Actually, no, we have one Flash file that just kind of like lost into the ether that Grand was looking for like literally last week.
Oh yeah, we found out recently that we unfortunately lost another FLA that I don't think we're probably going to recover any day soon. It's the Holofunk GF design FLA, so that FLA's unfortunately lost to time.
Speaking of time, so I'm moving on now. Question 4. Looking back, what were some outdated parts of the version? So like, what was some like more like the more obvious parts that were like outdated back then?
The UI.
The dialogue.
UI and dialogue.
Yeah, everything visually.
Yeah.
Background works. What wasn't outdated in the early stages? There wasn't any note skins. There wasn't any.
Yeah, it was pretty much everything up until week 5.
I do remember that until week 5, until we started working on week 5, we had to deal with the hard coded stuff. Pretty much everything.
So was week 5 the big like overhaul everything update?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Because
I remember specifically, like I organized like the entire file system. If you went and downloaded week 5, it's far more organized than pretty much the version before that.
When did you start working on V5?
Oh, that's a good question. When did that happen?
That is a good question. I know it released in November of 2021.
I think it took us wasn't it 9 months?
I think it took us about 9 months. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it was something around that.
Yeah, it sounds like a huge overhaul.
It's kind of weird to say it's a weak version update because when we did a week update, we didn't just do that week update. We literally just went back and we redid stuff from the previous one. Yeah, no, like we never really let anything stay outdated in our eyes for too long because then it's like, oh, we could do something better here. There's 2 versions of Morikala IAP. The one from the initial release and the one that we have now that was done during the version 4 update. It was pretty much everything was outdated up until it's like, fuck it, we're going to overhaul everything on version 5.
Yeah. So moving on to question 5. If you could have gone back and changed anything, what would have you done? This is mainly for like versions 1 through 5, but honestly, if anyone else wants to say anything, that's fine.
Fucking, I know how to chart better from the get-go. I feel like I'm a fucking fraud because I didn't learn.
That's such
really
a raw
funny.
quote.
I feel like a fucking fraud. It's I found out about the game and I was like, the mod, man, I was like, man, this is cool. I'm gonna learn how to chart, and I learned how to proceed to generate the worst fucking charts known to fucking mankind.
Oh yeah.
I was in the fucking rant was purposely done on purpose, but I was in the studio. I was like, man, this shit goes hard, and then I went back a few months later. I was like, what the fuck was I on? Literally
Making it beat it at 11 p.m. versus listening to it in the morning.
I was thinking about.
I wish I could have done so much better on those early versions. I'm surprised that it was a crazy gaslighting campaign that pretty much happened. That people were saying that the charts early on were good. They were not.
Anything else for anything else?
The only thing I can really think of is the separated Amelia and Gura singing for week 2 when I proposed it during week 5, but I was a little stupid with how I presented it because I was still a beta tester at the time, but for some reason they gave me repo access when I asked for it.
It's because I think Awu wanted to help you learn.
Yeah, because at the time I wanted to help out with the project and stuff, and so I was like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna look at the code, see what I can do there. I then proceeded to all do nothing and separated Amelia and Guru singing, posted that to the repo, and then they're like, nuh-uh, and then that's how that
in hindsight,
happened.
you were totally right for that.
Yeah, you were totally.
I was right, but with how I presented it, they denied it.
So, question 6. What is I'll give us in the codexes because of this is I'm gonna mention him fucking 30 times, Plantaros, but that's my main memories of Holofunk of back then. But what was your reaction to all of the attention?
Honestly, we just thought it was cool back then, from what I recall. It definitely felt crazy to see much more eyes on us, especially after the week 5 or the version 5 update. That's when things kind of
that's when the attention started skyrocketing, I feel like, especially with Killer Stream.
I would agree, yeah.
Killer Stream kicked off a lot of attention. Is fair. It's a really good song. Harker did a really good job on it.
Banger alert.
True. Actually though, but I don't know. I don't think I really look too much. Well, the one good thing that I know that the attention did do is we got approached. Actually, wait, no. I think that's I was about to answer a question that was.
Oh, I know exactly what one it was as well.
Okay.
Yeah, I was. I will stop there, but that's question spoiler. That's future question spoilers.
Honestly, for us, we're kind of content. We were kind of a niche within a niche in terms of what we were working on, given that not a lot of FNF fans really kind of knew Hololive. We were pretty much, our target demographic was people that happened to like Hololive and also happened to like FNF at the time. Mm-hmm. So we were genuinely just really happy to see that. We noticed it a bit between the early versions, but after the week 5 update, people they respected the work that everyone put into it, regardless of whether they knew Hololive or not. And that just made us happy. That's pretty much it. So,
question 7. This is the last time I speak up Plantaros, because I've mentioned his name too many times, right? And he's doing well. I will kind of broaden this out to just be in general, but what is your reaction to all of the fan content of Holofunk? So, my main one was the beta DCUs, which as I mentioned on stream. Anything else fits as well? What are your thoughts on the fan content?
I really like how Blantandos has basically been technically supporting us with his beta DCIUs from the beginning. He's been using a lot of Hololive, Holofunk related characters in them for a long time now. So shout outs for him, for real.
Actually a big fan of Hololive. That's why he did it.
I'll say this again. I remember in fucking he even used characters when they just didn't have to be there. I remember there was the Senpai Tankman ones. Back then I really thought I was like, oh, they should add this storyline where Tankman and Senpai interact. It was dumb as fuck, but it was it was Aloy and Nene were there, and I'm oh, it's them. I know those people.
That was a cool little story that they were doing with that. I thought that one was interesting.
The thing is, I love the idea of Senpai and Tankman having a little story arc. It sounds stupid as shit now, but the thing is, back then I thought it was peak story, and I was if I was in the basement, I would present that to the team. obviously things have changed, so that's not gonna happen. So, question 8, I said this on stream, and I've lied about that was the last of Pantaros, but in the hands beta DCIU, I think that's the actual like acronym.
Yep.
Botan was like Botan was blushing when Pico shows up. Could you? Right, what are your thoughts on that? And I'll split in question 9. And could you elaborate on the discourse around that? Because that was mentioned on stream.
Oh, ooh, okay, that I remember.
Oh Lord.
Honestly,
I've just unlocked a lot of repressed memories.
I honestly prefer them. Like, I really liked the idea of them being like just gun friends, mercenary friends, nothing more. Like the thought of them being like shit together, just I don't know, it just doesn't really sit right with me.
Okay, I'll give my view on it. I thought it was funny as fuck.
It was funny, but like after letting it sit for a minute, it's like why?
I thought it was funny as fuck. I think I have it somewhere on my computer. Give me a second.
No, don't tell me you have that image. Please tell me you don't still have that image.
I still do.
No, that is dreadful.
So
Off to hang myself. Horse and
I'm gonna kill myself. Oh my god.
Oh my god.
this was the airplanes. It was really funny.
Can we pretend that airplanes in the night sky?
This
Copyright.
is this what caused all the discourse on this server?
No. Okay, it started happening, and I thought it was funny, but like we just kind of wisened up eventually. We're like, to us, we kind of like didn't want to. We try to play it safe, and we didn't see it kind of okay to just keep this like quote unquote ship going between a hololive streamer and a fictional character, because we didn't want people to actually just start like mentioning something to like Botan or something herself. That was like a fear we kind of had, so we just kind of after like the initial like, oh, this is kind of funny.
That's put a stop to it. I can get that because of like shipping real people. It's obviously not okay. It's a really dumb thing. So it's like I understand the kind of fear and like an action to it. That's very fair enough. So question 10, was there any other drama from the mod? This is the big drama question. Oh no.
I wouldn't personally say it's drama. It's more like it's just misalignments of like how we want to take the project forward.
Yeah,
That was mainly it. There really wasn't any drama.
Yeah, it was just like a bunch of like heavy miscommunications that got settled.
Miscommunications and just it's something I don't want to put like too much on the forefront. The whole like point was that the story of the old update was going in a direction that we didn't feel comfortable with and we didn't want to keep going with, and just kind of like, if anything, we try to keep everything as internal as we could, because to us, and I feel like a lot of people should really be approaching about this, we wanted to not make a big old deal and fuss about it. So everything was tried to keep as internal as possible, but there was a little bit of fallout, but really wasn't that much.
Yeah. You're like taking the Brody Fox tweet the heart of not making things public. That's fair enough, because I will admit I kind of was out of the loop of Holofunk V5 going forward, but I did not see any drama on Holofunk, so I'm very happy to know that there was nothing like too big, wasn't like any like the you know who's of like and shut up in FNF to 0 and that kind of shit. Anyway.
And at the end of the day, it's not like hard feelings being held. We're still friends with it was more problems with how the mod itself was being handled, but we're still friends with the people that were involved. And the reason why we got to that point, but we dealt with it and we try to keep things as amicable as possible, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah. So, question 11. So, V5 going forward, isn't it V6, I think?
6, yes.
Yes,
oh, wow. I thought it was like V9.
No, the current version is 6.0.1.
Okay, so what was development like for V5 and V6?
So for version 5, oh my god. Because honestly, I didn't really dive in too much of development. I think most of my development work was just programming for the dialogue system, and along with little small edits to make the dialogue a little more impactful for version 5.0.
Oh my God.
As for art, I think that's more of like Graham's ballpark, but I think CJ did a majority of the art with Graham. helping.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So for week 5, CJ did all like the assets. I remember Haru telling me that for like especially like the week 5 like top mall characters, like that was like concept sketched all out in an Aggie, and then CJ took it from there. And
No, incorrect.
Foreground.
Week 5 top part was concept in the Google Doc.
it was concepted in a Google Doc. I heard it was sketched out in an Aggie and then brought into anime.
Oh, that's what it was. But we concept, I think it was called like week 5 deconfirms. That's what I called it, the Google Doc, because we thought it was like, people that are in the top won't be in the mod as opponents.
Oh yeah, and then freaking, I don't know if anybody still has this video on hand, but with the placeholders.
The video does still exist. Let me go through my videos folder because I might have it.
I know who has it.
I have several. I still have pretty much all of my recorded videos from development.
There were placeholders for a long while, and then
I found the week 5 deconfirms.
Yeah!
What
right.
the hell is
Yeah,
this?
that is the actual complete list of who's in the top row, except
Lantanos
And Coefficient.
and Camellia.
and Camellia. Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I see
But-
Fortnite Ninja.
Oh, that was boyfriend. And we put
I will. I'm looking for these.
Charlie
And-
Critical was the first thing that was placed down for week 5. The one thing we had in line and figured out was Charlie Critical.
That's true.
Oh my god. Mm-hmm.
That I can remember. This Google Doc was so bad that Google Docs is not made to have this many small images. I think I crashed my browser when I was trying to move it.
Oh my! I found a ridiculously old video. Oh my god! This is so fucking old that there weren't even placeholders for week 5. And there wasn't any actual coding done or anything. But oh my god, I'm still trying to find. I know I have the placeholder video somewhere. I don't know where it is though.
It went by fine, but there was, and this was a slight minor inconvenience. There were times when CJ would enter an arc of playing the game, and that would be the whole thing of CJ playing the game for a full month.
Oh no, I forgot about that.
CJ was pretty
All
much
the
everyone
respect
in
to
charge.
him though.
Yeah. CJ's
They got stuff done.
cool. They got stuff done, but
They just got distracted easily.
the 1 month of Forza Horizon 4.
Oh my god.
The month straight of Forza Horizon 4.
Oh my god. We'll move on. We'll move on in this case, but you can keep looking for the video.
I am looking for the video. I will answer questions if needed.
Okay. So actually, now we're getting on to the almost spoiled question, but question 12.
Yeah, sorry.
It's fine. Do the hololive members know about Holofunk?
Yes.
That is a resounding yes.
Yes, absolutely.
Wow.
Okay, so
I know Callie played it on a fan game stream before, but it was the week 4 version.
And
Because it
Robert
was-
played the week 5 update. Actually, a couple months before we released 6.0. He was a bit too early for that, but
not Robert.
Callie was
Oh,
also a bit
it was our
early
run.
by
It was our
a
run,
few
not
months.
It was our run. I remember he saw himself in the balcony on the top, and that was funny. In week 5, Gura definitely knows about it because she used sprites in a thumbnail for when she played the original base game. I do remember when we were approached for permissions because I remember I don't think anyone Jesus, you were the only one who actually answered the DM. I think everyone else thought it was
Danger Man. It was Danger Man.
Oh, it was Danger Man. Oh my god, you're right.
I didn't get a DM. It was
No, it wasn't you. It was Danger Man. That's right.
All of you guys, I remember you guys telling me that you all thought it was fake until Danger Man was the only one who accepted it.
Yes.
There was a Hololive staff member, a Cover Corp staff member that reached out to us via Discord. They made a burner account just to get in touch. And then they had CJ make a email. They had to send an email so that they could have it on record, pretty much.
Oh my
Which makes
god.
sense. Yeah.
This
For
seems like
official
a contract
permission.
and everything.
No, it's the way they work. As a company, they have to be able to get permissions. They have gotten permissions they get express permissions from the developers themselves. They've gotten permissions from the Friday Night Funkin' developers and to play Friday Night Funkin' in the past, and then they had to get permissions from us to play the mod when we kind of pretty much made a pretty open invite to you can play it.
Oh, okay. So they needed you to permission to play the mod I thought they wanted you to get. I thought they wanted permission. I thought they wanted you to get permission to actually use the members. Wow. Okay.
No. They love fan games. They love fan works.
Okay.
But as a entertainment corporation, they're going to video game publishers, or in the case of something like this, just the developers, and asking for what's essentially broadcasting rights. Because that is something that has to happen on TV, but they are essentially that, but online. So it's just law.
It makes sense. It makes sense. So okay, so question 13. This is one of the big questions I had originally, and I had to got answered on stream. But why does Aloy have boyfriend's voice up to week 6?
Fucking the complexity of having multiple versions for every other song that wasn't in the week 6. This was thrown around. We talked about this. I think we spent a good amount of time talking about this because we did consider doing changing every voice out for like the chromatic that they now have. Mm-hmm. But then we thought, okay, then we're gonna have people asking us where's the upload of this, and like then we'd have to manage uploading everything all over again, and then it was gonna be kind of a mess to keep organized within the files. Then it's like the people don't like change. That's another thing. People really don't like change. It was just kind of like we didn't want to risk changing far too much of the old stuff, and we just kind of wanted to keep that relatively the same. Mm-hmm. Which is kind of why like week 3, while being developed during week 6 or the version 6, week 3 was kept with the BF vocals in mind. Mm-hmm. Because there was supposed to be a piece of dialogue where they were going to change their voice in week 6. And Kedix is
hi Jesus.
So I remember I thought it was funny, and I told Haruka about this, that we should do the Amazing World of Gumball thing, where there was a whole episode where they were like their voice was breaking or something, and at the end of the episode they cough or sneeze or whatever, and then their voice actor changed, and it changed for the rest of the season.
Bro, oh yeah.
And we wanted to do something like that, but they kind of forgot to write that in. So
who isn't a Jesus person? Because like when you see a hi Jesus, I think of the religious person.
It's me, I'm Jesus. Jesus. You can pronounce it Jesus, like Jesus. Or they just call me Jesus occasionally.
Oh right, okay.
Can we go back to the question to the Hololive members knowing about Holofunk question, because there is a very funny thing. So there was another Hololive member that did play Holofunk, or at least
quote unquote
without the music, just the sprite edits. Played.
No, hold on. No, it was the music without the sprite edits.
Oh, right, it was with the music with the sprites, and at that point it was still just an asset replacement mod, so it still included So I believe at that point there was base game week 6 in there. However, that caused some issues because the text for that cutscene had been replaced with the Grubhub ad read that the Grubhub perks ad joke, and she read it out loud on stream, and it was the funniest thing. I'm only mentioning this because I just found the clip of it happening.
It was.
If you want to send it in the thing, you can. And
I will. It's so funny.
Group has packs give you deals on the food you love. ご飯より君が好きだぜってことこれ。ご飯よりお前を愛してるっつってんの Food, not food. Hi, you love. The kind of deals that make you boogie.
Oh my god.
Because she did not know what she was reading, but it was so funny.
I could just see the fucking picture and it looks so funny. Okay, we'll move on.
This is why she is wearing a hat in week 4, in the week 4 dialogue that says, and just week 4 in general that says "Hollow Grub" on it.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. So yeah, question 14. Will Aloy's voice be her actual voice going forward? So
yes.
Yeah, I'm going to assume
Okay.
week 7 onwards it'll be Aloy's voice. Yeah.
Okay, it's also kind of funny because it isn't Aloy's voice technically still.
Oh, who's it?
Nintendo's made the voice bank, but in collaboration, like Haruka, they talked it out and they figured out that this is actually both Fubuki and Aloy's are sampled from Fubuki. It's just tuned up.
Yep.
So, out of pure respect of not using Aloe's voice herself, we went for that route.
Yeah, because I was going to ask about Fubuki's voice. That voice is both of the characters.
Fubuki's voice is both chromatics.
Yeah, so that answers question 15 essentially. Question 16, this is for everyone. Do you prefer Aloe or Fubuki?
Fubuki.
I prefer the Aloe route.
I prefer Aloe.
I don't put Aloe.
You're making me choose quick.
Right, just answer honestly.
It's okay. You can just say Kiara.
You can either make one win or make one tie.
This is like a Pokemon, like which Pokemon side are you on?
Which one?
I choose option B, AJ. Just kidding. I choose.
That's fair.
For me personally, I like Aloe's side a bit more.
Aloe wins.
I just like Fubuki. I just like Fubuki.
Yeah, no,
He's funny.
I'll probably play Fubuki some other time. Maybe on stream, maybe I'll see what happens. It just depends what kind of content I'm doing.
It's pretty much like Pokemon versions where it's like
The same. It's like the same content. Different stories.
Or slightly different variation, and just like the variation on like the version exclusive things that we decided to do.
So moving on to question 17, what is the oldest asset in the newest version, so version 6?
Okay, I've been thinking about this all day.
Everybody guys until you're the okay.
I
Girl and Amelia.
genuinely think no, because that got technically changed.
No.
Slightly.
But that's
By technicality, it is Coco.
What about week 4 Fubuki?
week 4. Like I'm thinking like Fubuki.
It's either Fubuki or Coco, but they were both the same update.
I think it's Fubuki.
No, wait, was Coco done before the week 4 background?
Man, like
I don't remember. I don't remember that far. I only just brain nowhere.
As you can see, like there was a lot of assets that went into.
I know it's around week 4. That's all I know.
Yeah, it's around week 4.
It's either the week 4 background itself, Coco, or Fubuki.
No, but like I would say by the technicality of other than the sprite edits, I still feel like Ame and Gura are still technically the oldest untouched assets other than the edits they had.
And their edits are just to change whoever is currently singing.
Like it's a mouth animations.
With the rest of the sprite
Technically.
The animations are the only changed thing, but the rest of it is older than within week 4.
Yeah, if we're not counting like the edit to it, then yeah, it would be Ame Same. But if not, it's definitely something from week 4.
They weathered through the time. They weathered through the 2 years they've been existing because that asset is like 2 years old now.
Yeah, they've been the one asset I've been hesitant to remake because CJ wanted to remake it like the Spooky Kids FOA, so there's no like separated symbols. It's all on just one frame, all on one layer, all on one frame.
So we'll move on to question 18. This one is for our Codex because he wrote all the dialogue. What is your favorite bit of dialogue that you wrote?
It would have to definitely be, well, I mean, in your next question, because I'm going to be really biased about this. So
At least you know.
Absolutely. So my favorite piece of dialogue written would have to be Ina Week. This is, it's because Ina is my favorite Hololive member. But I also really liked week 3 with Botan's. I really like that, the connection between the characters, especially with like Nene, Aloe, and Botan, because they're all gen mates, at least that was before Aloe graduated. So being able to write like what could have been if they were all together felt, it's a little bittersweet, but it's still like one of my favorites.
And to clarify what gen mates are, because probably not everyone watching this video is familiar with Hololive.
So in Hololive, genmates are basically idols that were released together in a generation. So this case, Nene, Aloe, Botan, Lammy, and Polka are considered genmates because they debuted together as one generation for Hololive.
typically a generation is an idle unit, a group of them. In Hololive's case, its generations are typically just themed around a single like concept.
A Fortnite
Because they have
squad,
pre-made
if you
character
will.
designs, and they're not like they don't have the thing of what am I trying to say? I guess because they're using the characters as like I guess masks for themselves instead of having like they're like real bodies
like
I guess on stage.
They use the generation idea to like be able to set up a theme for like VTubers, kind of like they have something to go off of from the get-go that people can kind of get like they use it kind of like a little hook to get people interested either through like their designs or their lore, and then they form they pretty much show their personalities through their streams. And that's kind of just how it goes.
Yeah.
I can kind of answer this question too because I did write a little bit of dialogue before.
But yeah.
My bad. I'm sorry.
You're fine.
So for me, it was the funniest one to write. I enjoyed. Actually, no, there are two that I like, but this was the funniest. In the week 2 Fubuki,
Oh my god, yes.
I don't know, you didn't get to see this. I don't know if you played the older version. We got to make PowerPoint presentation, and I get blamed for this every time. I made the PowerPoint presentation in Google Slides, and it has activate Windows in the corner, and everyone keeps telling me to activate Windows, and I'm not going to activate Windows.
Of course, we activate Windows, bro. Activate your Windows.
I'm not going to activate my Windows.
You can hide it anyway. It's just a simple registry change.
I don't care. I'm gonna keep it.
It's funny. I'm not telling you to remove it. It's funny.
The more people that tell me to take it off, the more it's gonna make me not want to take it off.
Yeah, I go the same way, buddy. I go the same way. So, question 19. Now, Cornex has already spoiled this, but for everyone else, what is your favorite? Okay, so I've limited this to what is your favorite Hololive member in the mod, but if you really, really want to, you can say outside of the mod.
I technically still win in this situation because Amaru Polka is in the mod in the background of week 4.
That's true.
She's in the shopping cart.
Yes.
I really liked her character design from the get-go, and I just really liked her content. It's really funny. She jumped out of she skydived for the sake of announcing her merchandise. She's really funny, and yeah, that's pretty much it. This has been my constant brain rot I've been fighting for the past like almost 3 years now.
Grant Howard?
For me, I don't really have like a set favorite anymore, because like I'll sit down and like watch a couple like clips here and there, and then I'll be like, okay, yeah, this is cool. But in terms of like main inspiration, I guess I'd say like Callie has probably been like my biggest inspiration for like trying what I do today.
I can also say this because she's in the background, but Sana, but she is unfortunately graduated. But I guess other than Sana, that's a tough pick because she's in the background on a poster in week 5, so that's technically being in the mod.
You're capping. You're straight capping. She was in week 6.
Background.
She was in week 6.
Wait,
she wasn't
so
just a poster at PNG.
I know, but that's still a character in the background. That's still a PNG. Polka's a series of PNGs.
that's all the sprites. There's no series.
You know what? You know what?
Well, actually, technically now they're DXC5 compressed DDS files, but
okay, you know, mumbo jumbo, fucking. Everyone is a series of PNGs.
There you go.
Everyone is a series of PNGs here. Okay.
I was gonna say Fauna, but if you're gonna, because she's also in that same poster, but if you're gonna impose that on me, then Okayu. Wait, no, I still win with Sana because she's in the background of week 6. That's what I said! I said she's in the background of week 6! Did I not hear you?
Probably.
Average Holofunk VC.
I'm not owned as you
I'm not owned. There's a solution we do a corn cob.
Corn maze, a cob of maze.
Man.
Okay, we're really on that fucking argument. So question 20. So this is a really interesting one. This is the first mod I've seen it's made in Unity. Now I've seen a lot of other there's a lot of engines out there for FNF. There was Cade Engine. I'm not even gonna do any Cade Engine jokes. I respect Cade a lot. There's Psych Engine, that's the obvious one. There's Codename Engine, there's fucking Andromeda Engine, there's the fucking there's a Godot Engine.
Engine.
There's the Wet Engine. Respects the
oh yeah, the GDTO team.
So,
I love Square Engine.
Yeah.
So I remember their naming of Quet engine came from the fact that we originally named our old engine that we used for week 5. It was still running off a really heavily modified Cade, but it was heavily modified to the point it wasn't recognizable to Cade.
And so, and this one, and the recent one was made with Unity. Why was the mod made in Unity?
Angela,
Yeah,
you're the cause.
I was the cause. I could call myself the Unity developer. I am very experienced with the engine and its framework. And I remember back when week 4 was finishing up, I remember like there was like some Parka telling me that there was some like issues with like, oh, how are we going to do these in Friday Night Funkin'? I was like, I offered to completely remake the game in Unity, but that didn't get realized until I believe development on that started in like 2020. Yeah, 2022. That was like summer of last year. But the main thing is just kind of like, it's a lot easier to make things in Unity because it's not a framework as Flixel and Flixel is on hacks. Unity has a lot of things like an actual visual editor and other things that just make it so much easier to work with, to develop with. And between like the start of actually starting to make the port the stuff over, there was still work like between the Myth engine, the Flixel version, and the Unity version. And eventually, I don't remember what happened, but we did decide to just push through with Unity because I don't remember why exactly. But
it was because Flixel was starting to get like laggy with what you guys wanted to do with it.
Yeah, Flixel started
and it was just really hard to figure out without having something else breaking.
With Flixel, there is no visual editor. If we were to have one, we would have to make one ourselves, which I could totally do. We definitely, all of us could totally do, but that's something we'd have to spend a lot more time on. I feel like, in my opinion, the most difficult thing about working with Flixel Friday Night Funkin' is that you have to do everything through code or whatever extra file formats you want to create to be able to do things. I remember putting together a JSON file format for for stages, but that still had no visual aspect to it. It was all just, okay, make a change, reload the game, make a change, reload the game. It's not like Unity where I can make a change, I can test things while gameplay's running, and with a direct visual as, this is how it's going to look. This is where things will be.
Yeah.
Just simply a lot more fluid, I guess, to develop with, to work with.
I think my main start with coding was with this game, so I'm very used to how the game kind of works in a way. I'm not a Source person, more of a Lua person, but the way you say it, and it's eventually when I'm done with everything with Friday Night Funkin', I will probably move to something like Godot.
Godot's good. Godot's really good. Really good.
I'll probably get a taste of that when I move to Godot.
I do know that in terms of scripting and just general programming, Godot does work with C++, which is very nice. C++ is very fun. It's a lot like Unity. It's kind of like a open source alternative to Unity, and it's really nice. Godot's a very good engine. I definitely recommend it if you want to branch out.
Okay, yeah. So moving on, we've kind of discussed a little bit, but anything else works. Question 21: what were the advantages of switching to Unity?
Higher frame rate, higher resolutions, a camera that can actually rotate, file compression, a visual editor, obviously, the ability to make tool sets for development way easier. Also, I guess using a charting format that makes sense. Because I had to develop. I made the new charting format.
It reads from Step Mania files, right?
No, that's what we use. That's what was used for charting. But in terms of how it's stored, it's not here's a bunch. It was more the format itself is more explicitly defined rather than how Ninja Muffin programmed the chart format in Friday Night Funkin', which is also what Cade based that Cade engine chart format off of, where it's very implicit when it comes to which basically means here's a bunch of values that the chart reader, the code that reads the chart, just expects it to be in this format. It's not you provide it and you tell it also what the format, what values do what, essentially.
I'm gonna shake and nod my head because I think I know what you're saying, but at the same time, I don't know what you're saying.
Okay, so if you have an apple and a banana and an orange, say if you want to show that to a computer, the computer expects it to be apple, banana, orange, and you give it apple, orange, banana, it'll see the orange as a banana and the banana as an orange. But in terms of that's implicit. But in terms of explicit, if you tell it this apple is an apple, this is an orange, and this is a banana, it will fill in exactly what you tell it to. It's not, it works based on what you tell it instead of trying to work on what the code is said to read it as.
I also found this GIF that kind of summed up working on Hash.
Yes, this GIF!
Bro.
Line test windows.
Yeah, Unity allows just like immediate play mode. Just you're in the editor, press the play button, game starts in whatever state you want it to. It's awesome.
Yeah, I've been so accustomed to FNF coding, so I really wonder what it'll be like.
I don't want to say that FNF programming is, I don't want to say like primitive, but not like, there's a lot of things you just have to like keep track of constantly in my experience, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that, but it's just, that can get kind of frustrating sometimes. And especially with the framework being
If the
manageable.
Banana's not an orange, the orange will be a banana.
Yeah.
That's what I'm getting.
That's what you're getting, yeah.
So
That's it.
moving on. So question 22. I always fuck up 22. I always fuck this up, man. I always say like, oh, question 2022. I always say that.
No, it's 2023.
Yeah, no, do that for the next question.
Shut up.
Do it for the next question.
Right. Question 22. What was the hardest asset of like each type? So art, the code, the music, etc.
I can tell you right now, art-wise, it was definitely the week 6 sprites.
First 2 songs.
First, specifically the dating sim.
And why is that?
Because
the complexity of the shading and all that.
The complexity of the shading, getting everything like height accurate and making sure everything just looks good overall. Because like that was one of the assets where it was like, it's either like gonna look really good or it might have needed more time in like the grill.
Yeah, it was the idea of like thematically, like Holofunks have been trying to like kind of thematically stay in line with what FNF did, but like we do our own thing. So like how week 6 had an art style change, we're like, oh, let's do that, but like with the complex art style that we wouldn't be done for other weeks, like making everyone like actual height, giving them complex shading that wouldn't be feasible to do on every sprite because that kind of fucking blows. Music, I don't think we can really answer this question because Harka isn't here.
Yeah,
sadly.
she is busy right now. So
yeah,
maybe
if
I can maybe add a little note after that, just say like what that actually was.
If we do figure that out,
in terms of code, I am
the porting process.
That wasn't really that difficult. I guess probably the most challenging part about that was, I guess, just adapting things into Unity, not specifically. It was more so adapting things into Unity because Unity's like, oh, its animation system doesn't work with Flixels, but like that doesn't mean it's hard to work with. It was more so, okay, how will we get this working this in a similar fashion to where it functions the same and is also not hard to work with? And I feel like we nailed it down on the development aspect.
Trying to think what else. Chart wise, I can say, at least for the stuff that I worked on before, what was the hardest thing I ended up doing? If there was a hard one, I think it was literally because my brain just was not at a high enough capacity at the time. I can't really answer that question for this one because Champo handled the majority of the charts for the new update. Is there really anything else that we could think of? Or
We'll just move on. So, question 23. So, what is everyone's favorite song in the mod?
this is a toughie.
That is super tough. There are a lot of songs that I really like.
My favorite isn't even in the game yet.
Oh my god.
That's not fair. Choose one that's already in.
Choose one that's okay. Sinner.
For me, I'm thinking Run and Gun.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
For me, it'd be Murked.
Okay.
For me, it's like a 3-way tie between Killer Screen, Duke, and Red and Black EX.
Yeah,
that's fair.
I love Red. I love the Hachima song. I really like Hachima in the
Okay, actually, you know what? I can amend it now. Hardest one was fucking anything that had swing in it. When I had to choose Red and Black, that is because it's in swing. That took me forever to figure that out.
I remember that, like,
revision.
There was a first pass of the chart without swing, I'm pretty sure. And because you just forgot.
I just straight up didn't know there was swing. Harga told me there was swing. I think I cried at my keyboard for like 20 seconds and then I just kind of wiped my brow and just got back into the charting.
You're like, okay, let's do this.
Oh yeah, no, I felt like the Lime test Windows.
What was I gonna say? Yeah. I love the Hatchima songs a lot. I think that's why I think that's what I would pick as my favorite song, especially like Red and Black.
Yeah, no,
Question
definitely.
24. What is everyone's favorite sprite?
Aloe Week 6.
Fubuki Week 6.
Which one, the
It's
first?
Ina.
Yes.
Not biased.
Oh man, you're really making me choose.
Yeah, fucking cheers, bitch.
This is the hardest for me because I'm the art director. Because freaking,
Yeah, wham,
there's
wham,
a
fuck
lot of
cheers.
them I really like. I've always really liked looking at my Ame sprays. There's just something about that little goober.
I just really like the Aloe sprite, specifically the down pose. And here's something that I don't really see that many mods. They still don't really do it, like a finishing frame where like kind of after you do like a nut hold, where like either they close their mouth or they finish off their animation properly.
Yeah, well, there's some mods that'll make that. There's some sprites they'll switch back to their idol. The first one that comes to mind is the starved Squidward one.
Mm-hmm.
The closing mouth one, I saw that a lot like 2022, and it is gonna stop.
There wasn't that much, but like
It was a
The way-
small era, but there's been a few mods that have kept it around, like Flavor Rave, B3, and recently Big Engine Brawl.
I liked how it did it for the Aloe Week 6 one because she had shine in her glasses, and on the last frame, one of them clears up so you can see her eye through it, and it's like it's a really good like smug view of it.
Yeah, that one turned out really clever. I really like what CJ did with that.
Yeah.
I'm glad I went on the small this was back when I was director. I went on to the small push on like the character designs were actually going to be very different. Aloe and Nene were both going to be pretty much hoodlums. I remember the concept a long time ago, but I thought that the idea of having a like kind of like a gap between look at Nene, this like rowdy rough girl, and look at Aloe in this like goofy ass goofy nerd outfit. I thought that would have been really cute to have that like two differences.
My internet might die soon.
Your
There's
internet
a
might
bad
die.
storm
Oh, no.
here that has to roll
Oh, wait,
in.
we
right,
better
let's speed run
real
real
quick,
quick.
man. Question 25. What criticisms have you received for the mod so far?
Ew, it's an
I-
anime mod.
That's definitely been
That is the number
a
one.
one that's been memed.
No. The number one criticism is the closed source nature of the mod.
Oh yeah,
That's a fair one. Yeah.
that's number one. Yeah.
There's still people that kind of like question it. I think a lot of it stemmed from how it feels like that things are expected to be like open source, but like not for the sake of like improving that specific project, but for the sake of like using it for their own stuff. It'd be more appropriate for like Angela to give her like idea on like specifically the code being closed source, because I do know that's part of like it's an agreement between all the programmers, but I know Angela does have could comment on that or codexes.
Yeah.
Yes.
At least for me, it's just kind of a lot of, I guess, I don't know. It's a lot of complicated thoughts that I'm not entirely sure how to get into. But I suppose it mainly boils down to
So I remember one of the issues that we had was what people would use the assets that we would openly release for what purposes, and the concern was that like stuff would be ripped from we released like if we released the old Hackflixel stuff, we were worried that people would just simply be ripping the code that was like heavily modified by them and all that.
With like little to no changes and just taking the code or taking the assets. I think the main concern was low effort things. That's why
We like Blantennis's beta DCIUs because of the work he puts into all of his like beta DCIUs, but that also goes into we don't really like the covers or fan content that like what they mainly do is like they just grab the sprite and they like recolor it and just or do something that's like transformative enough to. I'm sorry to whoever in my head I'm like flaming, but I have seen some bad fan content, but I have enjoyed it because I could tell they put their work into it.
Yeah, it's not the quality that matters, it's the passion, I suppose, is a good way to put it.
Yeah.
I guess I'll move on then. Question 26. So it has been confirmed you guys are still working on the stream. What can you expect in future versions? So I know that the story will be finished. That was one that was said in stream.
So, for future versions, you'll likely see some more refining, especially for certain assets. You'll also maybe see some dialogue changes here and there. Like, I don't want to set the dialogue like set in stone. And this is also because I totally didn't forget about the voice changing.
What, is there gonna be like a
Whoa.
week 7 like week? That would be so cool. Someone's
Yes.
gonna
So-
go.
For week 7,
I mean, we can communicate about it because it's an open book secret.
yeah.
Because it's like, I'll leave that to your discretion. It is. We have pretty much made it clear in the past. When week 7 dropped, CJ made a concept, and I think we all like internally stuck with that concept as in mind for what the week 7 will be. CJ released it back then, like what it looked like. Do you want to say it, or do you want to kind of keep it under wraps, guys?
So I'm pretty sure, in fact, that CJ just released it on their Twitter. But if not, week 7 should have been Pecora.
Usada Pecora.
Any images to provide?
I
I think I might have one. I have one on hand. Let me find it.
Give us a second on that one. Graham will probably go find it.
We do have it. We do have it.
I think I have it somewhere. Let me see if I've got it.
As for like extra content aside from week 7, there will be some, but this time around we're trying to like limit how much extra content we can have, unlike week 6.
There's definitely some one-shots planned, like a one-time song or stuff done for specific members. So it'll be like there's one-shot songs for characters. There won't be weeks, but it'll just be like, oh, here's a new character that hasn't performed before within the mod. We gave him a song, and that's kind of how we do it.
This is the
There we go.
very early sketch of week
That was
7.
super early.
Oh god, I remember that. I remember that.
Wow, that looks quite nice though. I do respect that. But yeah, I think the one shots seem like a bit cooler in terms of like actual like design, there's like development, that kind of stuff. It's a bit easier, and I understand that, honestly. I understand that.
Doing one-shots is like, it's one of those things where we can like, it's lower commitment. There's still like the need to do the work for the assets, but we do have some funny ones planned. There's a funny one planned.
Okay.
There is a funny one planned, and also we have some big ideas for week 7.
Yeah.
We'll move on.
That would be very cool
Oh.
with the things.
So, okay, moving on. Actually, moving on, so I'm not being interrupted. I'm being entitled. Okay. Question 27. Is there going to be any new EX remixes? Because I know I'm hatching, I got 2. Will there be any more EX remixes?
That is a question mark in my head because I feel like that is up to discretion of Haruka.
Yeah,
I-
it's entirely up to whatever she
Haruka.
wants to do, and
But
I don't think she has any in mind right now. I don't remember.
She did.
And I know
okay.
she has one planned for 7.0, but that's
Right,
for
right,
7.0.
Right. You're right. I remember now.
Okay. We'll just go through these quite quickly. Question 28. Are there any more collabs planned? Because if I'm right, there's a collab between, what's their name?
Amelia.
Yeah, Camellia. So I'm like, is there going to be any more collabs?
Doki Doki
For
Takeover.
Okay,
6.5, you can look forward to a collab song. It's going to be like what they were saying earlier. It's like going to be like a one-shot song, but it's going to be technically our side of the collab for DDTO.
Doki
I
Doki
think that'd be
Takeover.
amazing.
They got
'cause
Aloe and Nene as playable characters. So
and
just
we've
Aloe with Nene, but
we've interviewed both fucking mods. What an actual, how far we've come. Anyway, no, but that's
They're real good friends.
no,
Yeah.
yeah, they're amazing.
yeah.
It's like that one image of the gallery of the brother chick, but it's Monica and Aloe.
That's
It's
pretty.
crazy. I'm sorry if I'm like cutting you off.
No,
My
it's
bad.
fine.
The connection between both these teams go farther back than even FNF. It goes back to Smash 4 modding.
And it's entirely because of me.
So Angela has been friends with Duster and George since back then.
That's like 2016.
Damn.
I worked with both of them on a very fun, very good mod for Smash 4 Wii U called Artful Phoenix. There's a lot of history to that one, but Duster did a lot of like concepts and 3D model stuff. I don't think George was on the team, but he did. No, he was on. Yes, he was on the team. I remember there was some stuff like that I don't think made it into the public release, but were still being worked on. I did a lot of the core, a bunch of like moveset programming for it. And I remember working with them. I think like at some point
Oh, that is an insane storm going on.
Oh.
Holy shit.
Someone's getting pulled by a fucking tornado.
There was a it's not a tornado. I don't live in a tornado area, but we wanted to make a game together at some point. That fell through, unfortunately, but with the rest of the members of that dev team. But that was really fun, and it's just kind of fun to see that. Oh, hey, Duster and George are still doing stuff in some and
the same community.
Yeah, it's kind of nuts.
And they also like Hololive now. I'm meeting up with Duster and George at the end of this month. It'll be fun.
Duster is crony pills. I forget what exactly happened to make Duster start watching Hololive, but I know that he likes crony a lot.
Oh, it was us.
It was us. That was it. It was just straight up. It was us.
Holofunk made Duster like Hololive, and then Hololive.
And then he found Crony.
Yeah. Okay, sorry.
Simply found Crony.
We kind of kept this question going on for too long. Sorry.
No, that's fun. That's fun.
No, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. We'll move on. So, question 29: is there any? No, I think it's Tails get shot in this. Is there any rough release date for the next version? I know you guys are taking a little break right now because of like B6 just came out, but is there like any rough release date?
When we're done with it.
That's probably as good as I'm gonna get.
Okay.
Like, it's as good as it gets from what Angie says, but that's because we really don't want to like set any like expectations. I think having expectations on this would be really difficult for like a lot of people, especially for the devs.
It would definitely cause a lot of stress if we had to meet a deadline.
No,
We don't want
that's
the
really
chip-
fair. That's really fair. It's a mod that I'm going to assume is made for free.
Yeah,
Yeah,
this is absolutely a passion
Absolutely.
project. It's absolutely a passion project for everyone involved.
We have never monetized anything in any capacity. We have not made a single cent. We have actually technically lost more money because of the fact that we've had to commission some people for some work that has not been showcased yet, but will be showcased within the next update.
Yes.
A lot of my fucking money has been away in commissions.
There's a lot of big stuff coming for 6.5. You guys are gonna love it.
So this is the last question. Wowzers, right? Question 30. What will everyone do after the mod's kind of wrapped up?
That's a good
Continue with
question.
life.
Yeah, life moves on.
Just Codex is the
Fade
fucking
away,
bench.
rot. Fade away, rot. Turn into a corn of maize.
Yeah, I'm just gonna hop back in my little grave hole, and then somebody's gonna bury me back up.
I don't feel like there's a point where like I'll technically ever be like away from everything. That just like when things are all said and done, the one thing is that there have been like a lot of like lasting friendships that were made because of this. There's a lot of like throughout all the like 3 years I've been pretty much on board. There's always been the good times, there's been the bad times, but it's all gone well. It's kind of one of those things. It's like you kind of wouldn't want to trade out like the experiences that you had, and you just gotta treasure them and value them, because it's like things will come to an end one day, and it's fine because that's just a part of growing up, and just gonna continue on. I don't see there probably might be future projects that the people here will either work on together. May not be Holofunk, but it could just be something like as a separate passion project, because I don't see a reason like why not.
You're all gonna make your own team TVD.
Technically, I mean, it's not even that like crazy, because Arca has joined the Idol Showdown team, working on music for them. It's a Hololive fan fighting game.
Oh,
that,
wow.
That is a crazy thunder.
Yeah,
Low tier god is in your area.
Oh, bro.
Low tier god is in your area, hard.
No!
Is there anything else to add?
I mean, like I said, we all joked like, oh man, we're just gonna disappear, I guess. No,
Just keep going on. Does everyone else agree?
I don't see a reason being like, because like we all still love working on this project, and there's still plenty more that wants to be done. So we'll obviously keep working at it, and if at any point if Raps is closed sooner than intended, I still would imagine that there will be like a send off type deal. Like we wouldn't just stop working on it and like say, oh yeah, we're not gonna do it anymore. It's like we're gonna
go out with a bang,
or we're gonna do something to at least like commemorate. That's the one thing I would imagine. I can't make solid promises, but I would imagine that that's a feeling that everyone would share in wanting to at least like properly send things off once we get to the end of the road.
Yeah. So that is all of the questions that I've got on my list. Is there any more? I'm gonna think of any bonus questions. I think that's the first interview I've done without any bonus questions. I'm really tired right now. Fuck, Jesus Christ! I should not have done it after work.
The caffeine wore off.
Oh no, it did. It hard did. My Pepsi Max only gets you so far.
Pepsi meter is drained.
I feel like you lost the
bonus questions I
momentum.
can think of? Not really, to be honest. Is there any questions you guys want me to ask you?
I'm trying to
Am
think
I
if
good
there's
looking?
Oh my god.
I don't know,
Someone had to say
Grandhammer.
it.
I don't think I hard
Someone
look
had
at
to
you.
say
Oh.
Grand, all that.
I'm gonna take that as a no.
If no one was gonna make a J, I was.
No. It isn't that. I'm not laughing like a Grand, you're pretty all right.
Bro.
I'm not gonna say,
Goodness gracious.
look, dude to dude. I'll tell you, you're pretty high.
You're pretty alright. Okay. So that will be the end of this interview. Wow, I'm really fucking tired. I should have did this like tomorrow, however, but it doesn't matter. But this is that's quite nice. That's quite nice. So thank you.
Obvious and fuck up, right? That's my question. Obvious and fuck up, right?
Oh no, that's what fuck up. I've been watching the OBS thing the whole time. Don't worry. If it fucks up, I'm killing myself. So
It's so over.
it'll be over. But that is
It will be Jorida.
That is the end. This is the end of the interview. So thank you for Codexes, Fairube, Grandhammer 6, and not Codex. I just said Codexes. Codapop for joining us. So yeah, do you guys have anything else to say before the interview ends?
I had fun. This was an enjoyable interview. I'm glad getting to talk about the earlier days of the development.
Yeah.
Because that's a little bit of a kind of like I feel like not many people got to experience that. But yeah, just giving that insight. Anyone else want to give some final remarks?
Well, I also that's it. I'll just say So, I want to say thank you, Wonders, for this interview. Like during this interview, I looked back at the development a little, and it's definitely interesting to see how far the team and Holofunk has come.
See, I feel a little bit better now when like someone I really like says my name. I feel like somewhat important.
Thank you, Wonders, for taking up your time and being up at 2 a.m. your time.
It's actually half 2 in the morning.
Is it like what, 3 a.m. right now?
No, it's half 2. Oh,
yeah.
God, I'm gonna have a long sleep after this. But yeah, I think that'll be the end of the interview. Thank you all for watching. This has been a fun one. Again, I'll be playing 6.5 and 7 when it comes out on stream, and that'll be a really nice time. But we will see till then. This is without pro plays. And the thing is, I'm actually for the first time I'm editing this on my own, so I'll play an outro myself. Isn't that right, Wonders? Yes, it is. Okay, we'll see you guys later. So wave bye bye, everyone.
Bye-bye!
Bye.
Bye.